You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. That's the definition of a good-looking person. Always looking for and finding the good. And you have found good in abundance today because you have consciously and conscientiously tuned into the Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore. And you have tuned in for one reason and one reason only. And it's the best reason, because you care the most in the entire world about you. Y-O-U-E-W-E. And that's great, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You're able to build bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. And that's the reason that you're here, because you care the most about you. And you know that on this show, we discuss the three fundamentals of life. And when you live with these three fundamentals, you will be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And who doesn't want that? Or your money back, by the way. Happier, healthier, and wealthier by listening to the Joy of Living and following the three fundamentals of life, and with our amazing, inspirational guest today. And the three fundamentals of life are, number one, life. Your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, you will go mad. Now, in this case, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental is to uncover and unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple words. The most simple it says right now, this particular podcast, what you're listening to or watching, is carried over the magical, mystical platform called the internet. So if you ask anybody, what does www stand for? Invariably, they'll tell you it has something to do with the internet. And factually speaking, they're correct. But in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for, drum roll, fanfare, da-da-da-da. What a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? W-H-A-T-A. What a wonderful world. And whenever you hear even the opening bars of that song, thank you to Louis Armstrong, tip of the hat, what do you do right away? You can't help it but smile, because that song has touched not just tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet who just hear, what a wonderful way, start smiling right away. Now, SMILE is one of the greatest acronyms, greatest words you could ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because SMILE stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now, before COVID, when I used to speak to people, real human beings, we are gathered together, and God willing, it's going to happen again soon. We're going to get through all this. Just before COVID, I was speaking to a group of 5,200 people. And in the audience, I'm telling the story about Barry Shore and talking about seeing miracles in life every day. And people raising hands saying, hey, Barry Shore, Barry Shore. I've been up for hours where I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you see? Can you stand? I can't. Can you walk? Do you have water, drink, food to eat, a place, sleep, family, friends? All of those are miracles, every single one. And the simplest proof is 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching, listening to this, you didn't. And therefore, we have an obligation to live life to the full, live exuberantly. So imagine the following. Standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and that night be in the hospital totally, completely paralyzed. And it was not for an automobile accident. It was not a spinal injury. A rare disease took over my body, and Overnight, I became a quadriplegic. Nothing on my body moved. Nothing. 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed in my own home for 2 years. I couldn't turn over by myself. I was in a wheelchair for 4 years. I had braces on both my legs, my hips to my ankles, and that was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand made for me by a Zen master, but I still can't walk up a curb by myself. I can't walk up a stair by myself, and I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice, positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. It's all because of one word, smile, seeing miracles in life every day. But I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me, and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile, S-M-I-E-L? And I thought about smile sounds the same, why not? And I asked her, how come? She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of babes. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world that she wants to live in. And CREATE is a wonderful acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Rethinking is the key. Neuro-linguistic program. We can do it for ourselves because you have a brain. When your brain, thank God, has 100 billion brain cells and more than 120 trillion synapses connecting all of them. And they're there for more than just deciding what kind of latte you want this morning. The ability to decide what you want to do. The 6 most important words you'll ever hear in your life are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Now, I have to interrupt myself and warn you in advance that your humble host does use a lot of 4-letter words, and I even use the 4-letter FU word. And I do it because of the shock value, and it's fun. Now, the 4-letter words that we use because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant are love, life, hope, free, gift, swim, pray, play. Those are 4-letter words. I urge you, use 4-letter words. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun. Yes. F-U, capital N, capital N. Now, of course, people raise their hand. Hey, Barry Shaw. Fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world. In the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, fun is spelled F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, when you see your family and friends, you have a twinkle in your eye and a smile on your face. Remember that stands for point your finger and tell everybody, F-U, everybody. And they'll say, what are you talking about? I said, well, I listen to Barry Shore, The Joy of Living, and he wants to teach the world the F-U. Now, right now, by the way, you are joined by over 351,000 people around the world who are listening and here because, again, all because of you. You are the key. That's why you're here. Every single individual want to be the best you possibly can. And to that end, I'm going to urge everybody to do the following. I want you to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language. And when you use these words 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously, you will become better for yourself, for your family, your friends, and all living beings. That's right. And these 2 words are thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. The Dalai Lama has been quoted as saying, I read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. As he says, it's always possible. Now imagine we're able to go back into our coffee shops, no mask, completely over this thing. And you walk in, you order your fancy latte for $5, you sit down, somebody brings it to you. You say, thank you. You walk into the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte for $5, you sit down, a few minutes go by, nobody brings it to you. So you go to the counter and say, oh, I'm sorry, we forgot, we're so busy, we'll bring it to you. You go back, you sit down, a couple more minutes go by, but somebody brings it, you still say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you. You say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out. Somebody slams the door on you. You say, thank you. You're in traffic, you're late for an appointment, somebody cuts you off, and you say, thank you. You get up in the middle of the night and you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, thank you. To harmonize and network kindness. Kind is a great word that stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anybody I'd like to share with you at this moment who does inspire noble deeds than this wonderful, delightful CJ. CJ, please say hello to 353,821 people around the world.
Hello, I am so inspired and so happy to be here right now for this experience. Thank you
Yay,
so much, Barry.
CJ. Now, CJ, when was the last time somebody said F you to you and you smiled?
Right now.
Pretty cool, right? F-U, capital N, capital N. So as everybody can see, if you're watching, or if you can hear, I'll tell you, CJ is, he is a true millennial. He's just about 30 years old, and he's handsome, and he's smiling. He has great teeth, beautiful eyes, wonderful wife, great friends, and such like that. And guess what we're going to talk about on today's show? And by the way, everything you want to know about CJ Finley and the whole Thrive process and everything that he does, you'll be able to go to the website, barryshore.com. Don't have to write down everything and remember everything. Just lean in and let all this great stuff flow through you, around you, and transform you, because that's what CJ does. He transforms and allows you to thrive. Just go to barryshore.com. All the information will be there. But what we are going to discuss today with CJ is, you ready? Life and death. Huh? What did you say, Barry? I said life and death. So on that wonderful note, wonderful CJ, not even 30, let's talk about that right away. Let's jump right in and tell us, what the heck do you mean when you're talking about, hey, I want to thrive, I want to live? What does death have to do with that?
Unfortunately, a lot of people are just surviving, and I want to inspire people to do more than just get by. And no matter who you are or where you are or whatever your conditions are, you have the choice, just like Barry describes to all of us, to have fun, be kind, and ultimately thrive. Now, to me, thrive means time, health, relationships, income, vision, and experiences. So I break it down into the most important things for myself, so that each and every day that I wake up, I am going to be optimized and wanting to thrive on life. And that is my brand. So ultimately, the most important thing we all have on this earth is time. And I think a lot of people don't realize that our time can be up in any given moment. And kind of the story that I tell around this is a story that is one of my own, where you're driving to your corporate job, you studied. If you went to college, I went to college for engineering, and then you get this job to get the money, driving to the job, and you start realizing, wow, like if this were my last day on earth, would I want it to be like this? Nope.
And you said,
nope, no.
Wait a minute, let's hear again. He's driving to work, and he asks himself the great existential question: if this is my final day on earth, do I want to be driving, which is not bad, but driving to a corporate job that doesn't make me feel like I am serving the world? That's really what you were saying, right?
Correct.
And your answer was NOPE. By the way, he wanted to change the N to an H. So he went from nope to hope.
Oh,
I just made that up.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to take that from now on. That was awesome.
I gave it to you.
And that's the thing. I thought that I had no hope. I went to school and I spent a lot of money and thought I was doing the right thing. And you get out and I'm lost. I ultimately am lost. And then the next thing, which is you have your time. I realize I'm not spending my time in the way to make the impact that I want to make. And then my health starts deteriorating. And then real quickly after that, if your time isn't spent the right way and your health starts deteriorating, your relationships start to not manifest into what you want them to become. And then the thing that was working for me, and I think this is what straps a lot of people, is the income was okay. It was good. And it basically, I was sacrificing time, health, relationships for that income. But ultimately the vision and experiences, the end half of that I wanted in life, they weren't there. So I fortunately have a wonderful wife. And at the time we were just dating, and she kind of experienced the same thing, and we bonded together. And now today I am fortunate enough to run my own business and partner in a couple other companies that our ultimate goal is to help mission-based people, brands, and businesses thrive with that acronym.
So let's talk about Thrive. And I'm going to share with you another acronym that you're going to want to use. And that is around the word time, because you mentioned it many, many times so far. So time is the ultimate currency. It only lives moment to moment. And when you add it up, you have a day. And if that day is not spent in joy, happiness, peace, and love, then you can say that may not be the best use of my time. Now, time stands for, in my vocabulary, I have 4 or 5 different ones, but you might like this one. Time stands for thinking it's miraculous every day. Thinking it, because it is, right?
Yeah.
And then the result of that is time also stands for teaching others, but teaching it's miraculous every day. So the first one, CJ, that you had to teach that it's miraculous every day was who? You. See, you also said something that was profound. I want everybody who's listening. We have people listening all over the world. 80+% of the people listening are under the age of 38. Most of them are in your category, somewhere between 23 and 32. And there is this desire, of course, to live well in our society, to have as many things as possible. But when you are thing-oriented, then you are bound and constrained oftentimes by needing this thing called money. And I use the word needing purposely, because when you do that, you are creating what we call golden handcuffs. Now, slavery has been outlawed in most of the world for a long time, but we tend to enslave ourselves, as you were just saying so beautifully, into thinking, wait a minute, if this is where it is, this is the best that it could be. I have a job, I'm going there, I have a girlfriend, I may have a wife, I have a family, but I have a job, and it's not allowing me to thrive. Then what good is it? That's not living life to the full. Life stands for living inspirationally for eternity. You weren't doing that, were you, CJ?
Not at all.
And you said, I am moving away and I'm going to build something. And that's what you've done. So talk to us about what you're building with you and the Thrive team.
Yeah, so I love everything that you said there. And ultimately for me, it comes down to what can I do in each and every moment to make every heartbeat count? And kind of like the way that I love the acronym for time, making things miraculous, is your heart in itself is a miracle. The fact that you have something that's beating inside you, like ultimately every single person, that's what your limit is once that thing stops, there's nothing going. So I came to this amazing city of Austin, Texas, and wanted to kind of surround myself with other people that viewed the same thing that I viewed. And that was that every single day when I wake up, I'd rather make an impact and serve other people and be healthy, happy, and wise, wealthy and wise, and really make the biggest impact that I can make. So today, ultimately, I kind of started with a team last year inside media where we were doing education services online. COVID kind of pivoted us into the digital space. And then I had to get rid of my office because it was just becoming too much of an expense with COVID. But today I am fortunate because with the health kind of crisis that we're in, I partnered with my buddies over at MSW Lounge, and now every single week, like tomorrow, I'll be at a lunch and learn and helping them film where we have people come in and learn how that they can improve their own lives through their health, because we're big believers in that. If you're healthy, happy, wise, wealthy, you're just going to go on and spread that. So I've really kind of changed the mission a little bit into focusing on how do I invest my time and money into other companies that are already built and have customers and clients and products and services to sell, and how can I help them thrive and then ultimately reach more people? Because one of the things that I was struggling with during COVID was rising tides all lifts all ships is something that I say, and when you're trying to do things alone, it just doesn't work. So what I tried to figure out was who out there was already doing some of the things that I already wanted to do, and then today I'm fortunate enough to say that I do that. That's just one example. There's a couple other examples where I teach teenage entrepreneurship and stuff like that.
You just said, because the genius of what CJ is talking about belies his age. See, there is no such thing as younger and older when it comes to understanding that it is a team experience or a partnership experience. And when you try to do things on one's own, well, you might get very far. You might actually change the whole world. That's great. But even Jeff Bezos didn't do it on his own. On the contrary, as he said, if I didn't have thousands and thousands of people, granted, they used my energy and I shared, but many people much smarter than I attracted. You see, what CJ is talking about is attracting like-minded people. And that's the beauty of living in today's environment and using Thrive. Let's just talk about Thrive again. Thrive uses these great words: time, health, relationships, income or investments, whichever you choose, but they're basically the same, vision, and experience. And when you do that in a team setting, there is no such thing as limit. And if you ever thought there was a particular limit, that's okay, because you're going to blow through it and go to the next limit. That's the genius. By the way, team, you might like this one, CJ. Team stands for together, everyone achieves miracles. Together, everyone achieves miracles. And I want to applaud you, because what CJ said and what he's doing, and this is really the key, what he's doing is that he was searching for people already doing things that he's thinking about, partnering with them and using that synergistic energy to be able to create, remember, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel, create another paradigm, a bigger paradigm, a better paradigm. That's what's called dream big. And it's not related to age. It's not related to sex. It's not related to anything, earning income. It's all related to your ability to recognize that you are mad. You make a difference. So let's continue talking about what you're doing with these, let's say, lunch and learn and processes like that. Walk us through what happens in that kind of process.
So I'll backtrack to, I was doing lunch and learns on my own with the Thrive team, and then just through Zoom and stuff like that. And then now we're back into a health lounge where that studio was watching me. And for anybody out there listening, if the more you do and the more people that you help, there are people that are going to be looking at you and seeing and inspired by you, and then they're going to reach out to you. So I had no idea, to be honest, what I was doing. I just had an office that I had to pay the bills for. And I was like, how can I help people from this office that nobody can come to right now because it was in 2020. So I bought new gear, everything, and spun that up. And then nowadays what it looks like is the company that I'm helping. We, every single week, every single Friday, we do a new health topic. So the nurse practitioner there will give a health talk. He did liver last week. So we'll do like IGTVs, and then we'll have people in there, 20 to 30 people in there learning about health. And there's also, the coolest thing is free food from one of my buddy's companies. It's called Prep to Your Door here in Austin, Texas, that's building sustainable food products to help change the agricultural system. They're actually raising money right now. So if that's your thing, go check them out. Faiz is the founder of that. He's awesome. But so they get food and they learn at the same time from an expert in this field, where they're not really going to get that experience anywhere else. And then the cool thing is they get it live. I'm there recording it so that anybody like my parents that want to tune in from North Carolina, I can then send them that link afterwards, or they can tune in live just like here and watch it. And we can ultimately help educate people on their personal health and what's going wrong with them. And then above and beyond that, after that day, after that lunch and learn, we'll go through and we'll sift through different clips and things like that to share with people. And then they can reach out to Nurse Doza himself and ultimately get their health in check. And it's cool because another company that I help is with teen entrepreneurship, and we teach college credit programs. We had to do the same exact thing. It was in person. I was teaching here in person in Austin. And then now we teach through Zoom, where we have a Slack channel for the kids, the teens, and they have a community. And we host hangouts where people like yourself, Barry, will come and talk to the teens for an hour, and they get all inspired, and they're their own miracles and creating their own miracles, which is awesome. But we had to pivot and go into Zoom and then have weekly Zoom meetings. So it was really cool to see all these businesses. What I learned on my own, we started transitioning all these other businesses into digital businesses. And ultimately, just like you mentioned earlier on this show, the goal was to spread that impact and just empower other people to spread the impact as well.
I want to go back to something you said, because it all began with 4 words. Everything you just said began with 4 words. And this is the genius of what you did, CJ. And what I'm going to say right now applies to CJ because he said the words, but it applies to hundreds of thousands of people that are listening. And I always urge everybody to share this with 5 people so that we'll touch 1.5 million people. You want to share this because these 4 words are the key to making a difference in the world. And the 4 words that CJ said were, how can I help? Do you remember that, CJ?
Yeah.
That's what you asked. How can I help? Now, you're going to might like this little riff. How stands for helping others win. Who stands for winners help others. That's what you're doing. And winners inspire never-ending endurance. That's the wine we like to drink. Winners inspire never-ending enthusiasm. That's the wine we like to drink. And the ability now to bring people together to learn something that is good for them. Remember, this show is all about you. It's not about Barry Shore. It's not about CJ Finley. Great guys that we are. It's about you. Why are you becoming the best you? And he said something I thought was, I chuckled a little bit. He wants to be able to send a link back to his family in North Carolina. That's great. That's part of America. He's in Texas, North Carolina. It's the world. There is no geography today. Yeah, I know for a fact there's over 2,680 people in Mumbai watching this right now. In China, people are watching. In Ghana, people are watching. In where was that? They told me the other day it was in Paraguay, in Uruguay.
It's amazing.
All over the world. Probably even in Houston, Texas. The point is, the geography is gone, but it still all depends on the human being asking that question of 4 words. How can I help? When you do that, you are releasing literally atomic energy into the universe, because it becomes less about you and more about others. I just want to mention to you, you might like this a lot, CJ, the word community, because you used it. Community is a fabulous idea, and we know how to spell it, right? COMMUNITY. Notice in community that the U comes before the I. Because when everything is built on that, then you can have a community that flourishes. Even business, when it's done right, the U comes before the I. See, if it's me out there doing something, me, I want to do this, I want to, okay, fine. You might succeed. And as long as you have good ideas, that'd be great. But it's the ability to know that it's built on community, just the you. How can I help? That's what CJ did. And remember, all of this is built on that acronym called THRIVE. Time, health, relationships, income, vision, and experiences. So he's talking about experiences. Let's talk a little bit about vision before we go to our break. Tell us the big vision, the dream big for CJ, your wife, and the people you work with.
So the biggest vision I think that all of us have, and we kind of delineate all our core values, and this is how I decide whether I want to work with people, is everyone I work with has to be willing to educate other people in some capacity. And then the other one is not only do they educate, how can they help beyond education? Because education will teach you something, but how do we help them take an action? So we basically can connect them to resources, capital, things of that nature to not only give them the education that they need, but also help them take an action and then spread like wildfire. So that's kind of how I delineate how I'm going to work with other people, and then those other people believe in the same beliefs. My personal vision when I created this was ultimately, how do I take the 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21-year-old, and invest in our youth and give them opportunities that I did not have or aren't even created yet. So when Thrive was initially created, I wanted to be an incubator, an angel investor, where I take people that have ideas, but they just don't have the education or the resources to take the action. Because I'm a big believer, there's so much talent and ideas out there that never get off the ground just because of those two reasonings, that they don't have the proper education. They didn't have the parents that I had that sent me to the things that I got to go to, or then B, they just really didn't have the resources to get connected. Maybe they don't have Wi-Fi right now. They don't have internet. They're not global right now. It really confuses me how there's places on earth right now that don't have Wi-Fi and don't have access. So it's like thinking through things like that really fire me up. So the big vision ultimately would be to create some type of company or fund that can really help people that don't have the resources or the education to get their ideas off the ground. And then for me, it's not even about the money. It's finding a way to continue to grow those ideas and teach and educate, and make this world a better place. And if I do that, the money will come.
Wonderful high note. Put on your seatbelts, everybody. We're going to go to a break. We have wonderful sponsors that love us. We'll be back with more amazing, wonderful CJ Finley right after these brief messages. Don't go away. This is gold. Good day, everybody. Barry Shore here. I've had the privilege of being involved in 5 startups in my career. And I can tell you categorically, working at a startup is unimaginably hard. And I wish I had what I'm going to be talking to you about now. It's called Notion, Notion. Because having one spot to organize everything and work as a team makes it much easier. All your notes, your documents, your projects, your processes, your tasks. I mean, it's great. Don't you wish you could have one way to pull them all together? Well, now you can. For startups, Notion can provide a full-on operating system for running every aspect of your company, keeping everyone aligned as you grow fast and take on more. If you're interested, and I urge you to become interested, and you want to find out more, Notion is running a special offer just for startups. You'll get up to $1,000 off Notion's team plan by going to notion.com/startups. Notion.com/startups. To give you a sense, that's almost a year of free Notion for a team of 10. Again, that's notion.com/startups to receive up to $1,000 in free credit to use Notion with your team. I urge you, do this now. That's up to $1,000 value when you go to notion.com/startups. Do it now. You'll be glad you did. You'll thank me, and I wish you great success. Imagine the kind of place you would want to shop for your favorite fur baby pet. HonestPets.co. Well, you found it. HonestPets.co. Not .com, .co. This is your go-to spot for the best, the cleanest pet treats that exist anywhere on the planet. All of the brands go through a rigorous review to make sure they meet the high standards of cleanliness, health benefits, and naturalness. This site was started by a husband and wife team, and it's veteran-owned, and that care about pets, especially dogs and cats, and coming soon, bird treats. These are very nice young people who really care about making a difference, because a portion of proceeds go to support veteran organizations with a focus on service dogs. This is the place where you want to go. You want to tell your friends this has the finest, yummiest, freshest, all-natural treats and stuff for your fur baby. So go there, honestpets.co. honestpets.co. Do it now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. We have good and abundance overflowing today in the person of CJ Finley, and we're talking about life and thrive and health and action. CJ, we left on that beautiful note that information is wonderful, but it's not transformational. That's what people want. They need transformational processes, and that is embodied in action. Let's go use as a springboard this idea of health, because without health, there isn't anything. You're not happy, you're not wealthy, you're not wise. Health is the key. Now, health is a great acronym. It stands for helping everyone achieve life through happiness. Isn't that health? Helping everyone achieve life through happiness. You know what the opposite of health is? Death. We talked about it, right? What is death? You know what death is? Doing everything against true happiness. Isn't that what death is? You don't have to be physically in a coffin to be dead. If you're not living your life to the full, like you said, you were driving to work and you were, excuse the expression, half alive, half dead, because you were questioning, what am I doing? Is this what I want? Is this my last day? Was this what I want to be? That's not living. You said, I'm not doing everything to have true happiness. Therefore, if you're not alive, remember, this is the digital world, kid, right?
Yep.
In the digital world, it's either on or off. It's not the other way. So if you're not in life, you're in the other place. Therefore, choose life. So let's go forward and discuss what it is that how you're teaching and touching, not just people your age, but youngins, people 16, 18, 20, who, by the way, have either never been exposed to real education. I don't mean university. University, in my humble opinion, you ready for this? A waste of time. I'm going to say it again. Okay, I got thousands of people that, oh, Barry, show, come on. Waste of time. The greatest university, the greatest teaching in life is adversity. Not university, adversity. Because only when you face real issues can you know who you are. Can you choose life? Remember, we talked about choice, not chance, determines your destiny. So here's this amazing guy, CJ Finley, choosing to say, I want to live life to the full, making every heartbeat count. And he attracted a wonderful woman to share the vision with him, right? Yep. Sharing the vision is the key. Share stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy. So let's talk about the energy that you bring to, use lunch and learn as a microcosm of what could be spread through the world to similar communities. Because you may have 20 people in Austin, you may have 10 people in Dallas, you could have 15 people in Houston, you could have 12 people in Nairobi, Kenya, you can have people in Dubai. It doesn't matter. It's the same process, CJ, right?
Yep.
Talk to us. It starts with asking the question, how can I help?
So the biggest thing I think anybody can do, and you've mentioned it here before, is we have to help ourselves before we help others. Before we help others, we can't pour from an empty cup. So I recommend, just from I like practicality, is getting a notebook and just writing down how you spend your time. So on a pie chart, what you can do is you literally can list out, we all have 24 hours in a day, and you can't buy any more of that, and we can't get any more back. So you list your 24 hours out, and then you start realizing, okay, depending on how much you sleep, 6 to 9 hours, take that chunk out. How much time do you spend eating? How much time do you spend driving, texting on your phone, watching TV? And you start seeing, is this ultimately what I want to do with my life? And real quickly, for most people, they're going to start visualizing, and there's where the V word comes in, that this isn't the experience that I want to have on this earth. And once you get done that pie chart, you can start filling in, okay, what do I really want to be doing with those 24 hours? If I had the ultimate day that I could spend with myself and impacting this world, what would I do with my 24 hours? And then slowly but steadily, you need to change your habits and behaviors. Now, habits are key to spending the time the way that you want to, but habits are predicated on behaviors. So list out what behaviors do you have that you think are negative, and then what behaviors do you have that are positive? We can't always get rid of our negative behaviors. We're human beings. We are prone to making mistakes, but what we can do is outweigh them with our positive behaviors. So figure out what those positive, negative behaviors are. And then the last step would be find people that you admire, people such as Barry, your parents, yourself. What do you admire about those people? And then how do you align those behaviors and those habits with the time and what the people that you admire, how are they spending their time, and why do you admire the time that they spend? And ultimately what you'll start doing is spending your time in a way where you're spending way more energy and taking action on the positive side of your behaviors and your habits, and you become the person that you looked up to. And this is what we do at WIT, which is the teen entrepreneurship program. Shout out to them. We teach them principles to live by, and it has nothing to do with academia. And then they learn these principles and they use them, whether they're trying to get a job, whether they're trying to get an internship, whether they're going back to their normal curriculum or going to college, because our whole goal isn't to deter them away from what they want out of their life. It's just to give them tools and resources to take action in the way that they want to. And as you said, Barry, it all comes down to more of the mindset and being positive and pouring the energy in the way that we decide each and every day, rather than the negative, the death side, which is against the true happiness. And practically, that's how I kind of go about it. Figure out your 24 hours and then decide what behaviors are good and bad. Who do you admire? And then align all those. And you're going to be surprised how your life changes in 30 days.
Wonderful CJ has just given us recipes for what we call the success cake. And when you bake it, not only does it come out of the oven, everybody says, wow, that smells good. I want some of that. You start slicing it up and dishing it out. And guess what? Good. It tastes better than you can ever imagine. CJ, this is great, because the famous question is, are habits good or bad? And the answer is yes. But you have to decide which ones you want to keep, which ones you want to emphasize and lessen. And you know yourself, thank God, well enough to determine what it is you want to do. Because again, the 6 most important, we've learned the 4 most important words in life. How can I help? That goes, by the way, with washing dishes for your wife or your friends or something like that. How can I help? You don't ask, you do. Taking action, as you said, CJ. The 6 most important words you'll ever hear in life are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. You have been given a recipe by CJ. Go to barryshore.com. All the information is there. Do what he says, though. Get that notebook, get a piece of paper. Imagine that, a piece of paper and a pen. You can do it on your fancy computer or your iPad, but I happen to prefer using something as old-fashioned as a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper, and make a circle and then look at it. And then that pie becomes you. And when you do that, you thrive, because that's what CJ is all about, thrive. By the way, CJ, I want to speak a little bit about dog poop, okay?
Yeah, fine.
Wait a minute, he doesn't even look surprised. Barry's going to talk about dog poop because he already knows already that there's something that I'm going to make fun with it, right? Remember,
yeah, I'm going to learn.
F-U, capital N, because this is what he's talking about. So, by the way, you remember when we used to be able to go in an airplane very easily? You remember, like you said, you need to make sure that you have a full cup before you can serve others. So remember going on the airplane, and you're sitting on the airplane, and in the front of the airplane, either the person in front or they have a video tells you, look, if there's a change in cabin pressure, something will come down from overhead. And here's the key, counterintuitive. If you're traveling with a child or somebody acting like a child, what do? You would think you're going to put something on the child first to help them breathe. But the answer is no. counterintuitively put the breathing apparatus on you first, and now you can help the other person. It's only when you are breathing well and you are calm and aware, capable of serving others, that you can be of benefit in this world. So now we're talking about dog poop, because everybody knows what dog poop is, right? And you think you do. But dog poop is a great acronym. It stands for doing of good, power of one person. CJ is poop. Don't tell your friends that. They may use the other word, because what he was talking to us, when you make the pie chart, what he's telling you is your consciousness will shift. Shift happens. Now, most people, CJ, as you know as well as I do, they drop the F sometimes. I don't know why. And they don't pronounce that shift fully, but it's shift happens. So dog poop is doing of good, power of one person, the power of CJ determining, I don't want to drive to this job anymore. I love the people I work with, but it's not for me. It's not what I want to do. I want to live life to the full. And he's shifting his course. And now he's doing, how can I help? How can I help? That's what he does every day. That is called life, not the opposite, not death. That's called life. And when you do that, you recognize one person helping another, helping another, helping another. And pretty soon you're talking about, literally, we're in the midst, CJ, I think you'll agree, at the moment, of what I call a joy deficit in this country and the world, right? You walk around, you see people that are gloomy and glum. It's a joy deficit. We can create a joy surplus without printing trillions of dollars. It just takes one person helping another, reaching out to another, and we can do Hands Across America. We are the world. All those things that you think about and hear about, it begins with you. Y-O-U. Not Barry Shore. Yes, CJ Finley. I mean, what he's doing animates me. I thrive by listening to CJ. I thrive by hearing the stories. I thrive when I know that he is here. When he gets off this podcast, he's going to run around the house, pick up Aaron and say, whoopee, this is fun. F-U, capital N. He's going to tell his wife, F-U. Capital N, capital N. But the point is here is that this is all about dog poop. Doing of good, power of one person. Because when you choose life, life stands for living inspirationally for eternity. Okay, wonderful, CJ. Let's discuss the idea of relationships for a bit. Because in my humble opinion, it is the essence of living well. It's really the anchor. Thank God you're married. God willing, you'll start building a family soon. But it doesn't matter if it's whoever your partner is. The point of it is relationship building. Talk to us from your perspective what relationship building is for family, friends, and other living beings.
So I'm going to be honest and transparent with this one. I used to think I knew what it was, and I ran into some trouble in my lifetime, and a lot of it was I became enlightened when I started dating my now wife, and learned truly like what relationship building is. And in the beginning, I thought relationship building, and a lot of younger people probably think the same thing, is you get your business card out and you go to the different career fairs and you join the fraternities and you play the different sports and intramural leagues. And I was building a lot of relationships. However, they were all surface level. They're all, what can I get from knowing this person, or what can I get from knowing that person, rather than what can I give and grow deeply with this one person that I know has potential that I see within them. And I know that I have potential within myself to help them get to that potential. And for my wife specifically, that hits home with her as well, because we wouldn't be who we are without each other. And that's when I started realizing that relationships, I don't like the word. There's a word being thrown around like codependency and dependent on each other. We are both whole human beings. I don't like other half that word either. We are whole human beings, but we are 100% better when we are around and in the same room together. And what I mean by in the same room, it doesn't have to physically be in the same room. It has to be on the same page. So if you're listening out there, what I mean by on the same page, whether it's your significant other, your friends, your family, it all starts with communication and being openly communicative with all of them and saying, this is what I want out of my life. This is what I'm doing. What are you doing? Can I help you do what you want to be doing, and things like that, and just being communicative. And even if they disagree, and even if they don't want to jump on your ship, that's okay, because we're all human beings. And once I got a little bit older and learned that there's a time and a place for everything, and that just because somebody wants to do life in a different way than I want to do right now doesn't mean I need to write them off. So my relationships ultimately became better because I began to support people who in the past I might not have supported because I just disagree with one viewpoint they have, or something that they don't agree with me on. Rather, today I live a much more abundant life where I'm supportive of everybody and what they want to do with their life, but I'm also transparent that I want to spend my time with people who kind of live the life that we do, bringing joy to each and every day.
Woo! I want to unpack a couple of things, because you are the point of the spear, wonderful CJ. Because of your age, your chronological age, I will mention to you, everybody, when you get past the age of 25, in my humble opinion, has 4 ages all at once. You have your chronological age, you have your metabolic age, you have your mental acuity age, and you have your SOW. See, what is Barry talking about? SOW, we'll talk. So you have a chronological age. Let's say you're almost 30, 29. You have your metabolic age. Maybe you're actually closer to 22 because you play a lot of sports, you do things, you're really physically active. So for me, I'm 72 chronologically. I'm 48 metabolically because I swim 2 miles a day, 6 days a week. And my mental acuity is 28 because I hang around with people that are in the 28s. And my SOW stands for sense of wonder. My sense of wonder is 8-year-old. Yes. Not childish, childlike. So what you've been saying here is that you have been able to evolve from the, in quotation marks, normal aspect of a grasping human, which is very childish, me, to recognizing instead of becoming a go-getter, you become a go-giver. And the essence of life, the joy of living, can be summed up in one word, CJ: giving. When you become a giver, now you can really become a liver. You talked about liver before. Well, the liver, the nurse talking about liver is talking about something physically, anatomically. You should also tell that person, I'm a liver. I live life to the full. As an example, the word ALONE is often mispronounced. Most people pronounce ALONE as alone, and they feel alone, right? But it's not pronounced that way in our world, CJ. In our world, positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, ALONE is pronounced all one. Because you said it so genius. You literally genius. It's not 2 halves coming together to form a whole. 2 wholes, WHOLE, forming a unit together that is super abundant. That's when abundance happens. When your mind thinks in abundance, when your speech is in abundance, your actions are in abundance, you become a spiritual chiropractor. You're doing of good. Power of one person. CJ, you have really moved me. I am so grateful that you're here and that you've been sharing with us today. I'm going to ask you 3 quick questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 1, will you come back again?
100%. This was amazing.
Thank you. Number 2, I'm going to ask you in 80 seconds, that's all you get, 80 seconds, your most fervent desire.
So this will take less than that. I live by a quote called discipline over desire. everybody has desires, but not everybody is willing to be disciplined enough to do the work to get to their desires. So I focus mainly on where can I improve my habits and my behaviors and be disciplined enough so that my desire to make the world a better place and leave it better than when I got here, it actually happens.
And your most fervent desire is that people should recognize that and incorporate it into their very beings.
Yes. Take what I say and take action on it.
Thank you. And the third question is, are you ready to accept a hug in front of 356,822 people around the world?
I love hugs. So this is perfect.
Let me tell you what hug stands for. You ready?
Yep.
Harmonizing unlimited giving. Harmonizing unlimited giving. So here we go. 1, 2, 3.
That was awesome.
And thank you for everybody tuning into The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore. And remember, on this show, we discuss the 3 fundamentals of life. One is life. Your life has purpose. You lead a purpose-driven life. You can go mad. MAD is a great acronym that stands for Make a Difference, like CJ and his wife and his family and his friends and all living beings. And number 3, uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. When you do that, you'll be happier, healthier, wiser, and wealthier. Such words as WWW. What does WW stand for? What a wonderful world. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. Or as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world we want to live in, like CJ is doing, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. You have the ability to do neuro-linguistic programming. Use 4-letter words like love, life, grow, hope, free, gift, swim, pray, play. Tell the world, F you. Capital N, capital N. You got to add that right away or they'll think there's something wrong with you. And remember to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. Our blessing to you is go forth, live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference.